Beach of the Cathedrals, Spain. Some might feel a kind of mystical wonder come over them. Others will marvel at the power of nature. These oceanside rock formations have been carved by wind, rain, and sea for a few years now. And by a few, we mean millennia. Hidden Beach, Marietta Islands, Mexico. The secluded setting of this gorgeous beach is the stuff of wild and romantic fantasies, which is why it has also earned itself the title of Lover's Beach. Lovesick dreamers the world over have longed to have these golden sands, gently lapped by crystal blue waters, all to themselves. And due to the beach's remote and concealed location, there's a good chance these dreams could come true. Moeraki Boulders, South Island, New Zealand. It does seem implausible, if not impossible, for these strange stone spheres to have been organically crafted, so giants playing beach bowls kinda makes sense. Though, for the less magically minded, the story goes that the boulders began forming on the ancient seabed in marine mud, created in a spherical shape by calcium diffusion, and were then exposed through erosion over hundreds of thousands of years. Geological studies estimate some of the larger boulders to be over 5 million years old. Palawan Island, the Philippines. The Palawan archipelago is one of the only tropical wonderlands left in the world that can truly claim the title unspoiled, and the island of Palawan sits like a giant shining jewel in the center of this glittering paradise. Santorini, Cyclades Islands, Greece. Among the hustle and bustle that takes over Santorini and the other Greek islands during peak season, it's easy to forget the astonishing way these places were formed and the rugged gorgeousness beneath the buildings. But look out over the Azure Ocean and along the steep cliff faces and you'll see that this is one of the most lovely places on Earth. Vodho Island, Maldives. The Maldives is your go-to place for beach paradise, no doubt, but Vodho takes it up a notch. The magic does indeed begin after dark, but the bar involved is made of sand. Head to the glowing beach, maybe the name gives it away. On a still night, you'll see the dark waters of the Indian Ocean and just the occasional spark of light in the ripples. Cave of Crystals, Mexico. It is 100% the real deal. It's like you've stumbled upon the land of the giants. No one has seen bigger crystals than these. In fact, not many people have seen these at all, for that matter. Darvaza Crater, Turkmenistan. Despite the furious and fiery appearance of this dramatic opening in the Earth's crust, which also has the less inviting monikers of the Door to Hell and the Crater of Fire, it's actually possible to walk right up to the edge and peer over into the abyss. Grand Prismatic Spring, Yellowstone National Park, USA. Don't press us on the scientific details, but as far as we know, the striking prismatic colors of this, the world's third largest hot spring, are created by bacteria. Not as romantic as it looks. At the center of the spring, the temperature is too hot to sustain any life, so you get the clear blue tones. But as the water cools and spreads, different photosensitive bacteria move in and create the different colors. The Great Barrier Reef, Queensland, Australia. As your boat sails from the golden sand beaches of northern Queensland across the expanse of crystal blue waters, you might think the scenery spectacular, but that's nothing compared to what you're about to see below the surface. Great Blue Hole, Belize. At a depth of 125 meters, you're going to need a little more gear than usual to explore this oceanic vertical cave. It was formed tens of thousands of years ago by glaciers, and it wasn't always filled with seawater. If you get your scuba gear on, you'll see the stalactites that most of us associate with caves. Hang Son Doong, Vietnam. Not just any caving adventure. This is a journey through the world's biggest cave. Discovered in 1991, the magnificent cavern soars to over 200 meters in height, 150 meters in width, and stretches for a jaw-dropping 5 kilometers in length. It is so expansive that it contains its own ecosystem, complete with jungle, river, lake, and temperature zone. Jita Grotto, Qusr Want, Lebanon. Despite the discovery of the remnants of an ancient foundry in a nearby cave that suggests the area may have been used for the production of swords thousands of years ago, the modern uncovering of the grotto is attributed to an American missionary, Reverend William Thompson, in 1836. Since then, many expeditions have ventured into the cave and established that it stretches for nearly 9 kilometers over 2 levels. Lake Baikal, Siberia, Russia. This is one for the record books. Lake Baikal, the world's largest freshwater lake by volume, stretches out for hundreds and hundreds of kilometers across remote Siberian wilderness, 636 kilometers in length, and 79 kilometers in width, to be exact. The lake's statistics are extraordinary. It contains roughly 20% of the world's unfrozen surface fresh water, more water than all of the Great Lakes in North America. It plunges to a world-beating depth of 1,642 meters, and is also considered the world's oldest lake, at around 25 million years of age. Monyeongul Lava Tube, South Korea. We've heard about limestone, gypsum, dolomite, and even ice, marble, and salt caves. But lava, that's a new one. What was once an escape route for basaltic lava from the Geomunarium volcano, which erupted around 3,000 years ago, is now a warren of tunnels and caves that feel like roads to the center of the earth. Marble caves, Chile and Argentina. As enigmatically beautiful as they sound, these swirling, sculptural spaces have been created by the gentle waves from the glacial Lake General Carrera lapping against a calcium carbonate peninsula over the course of more than 6,000 years. Mendenhall Ice Caves, Alaska, USA. We never imagined it would be possible to explore underneath a glacier, and the reality is even more beautiful than anything you can imagine. You need to be quick, however, if you'd like to experience this natural phenomenon firsthand. Global warming has caused the Mendenhall Glacier to begin retreating at an unsurpassed rate in the last 60 years. If we stay on this current path, the ice caves will soon be gone. The Mariana Trench, Western Pacific Ocean. Call us crazy, but we can't see there being any tours to the trench anytime soon. True, the Mariana Trench doesn't see boatloads of tourists crowding the surface of the Pacific Ocean above the dark depths where the sea is at its deepest and most mysterious. Huangwushu Waterfall, China. There are a few things that set this magnificent waterfall apart from countless others. First, it's one of the largest waterfalls in all of Asia, with a spectacular drop of nearly 80 meters. Secondly, at over 100 meters wide, the amount of water flowing over the precipice creates a roar that can be heard for miles. And thirdly, the voluminous sheets of water from the Bioi River that plunge over the falls shelter a secret cave behind that can be accessed on foot. Lauterbrunnen Valley, Switzerland. It's hard to believe this place hasn't been created using CGI. With so many jaw-dropping sights in one frame, you couldn't make it up. We're here to guarantee that this is just what the Lauterbrunnen Valley looks like. Milford Sound, South Island, New Zealand. New Zealand really punches above its weight when it comes to natural wonders, doesn't it? For a small country tucked away at the bottom of the earth, there is a staggering bounty of nature's gifts on show. One of the most serenely lovely of these is Milford Sound. Mount Everest, Nepal, and Tibet. There are nature's wonders, and then there's the king of the Earth's landscape, Mount Everest. Exactly. There are few natural wonders in the world that capture the imagination quite like Mount Everest, the planet's highest mountain at 8,848 meters. This breathtaking behemoth is not a wonder to be approached lightly. However, as every year Everest claims the lives of some of the climbers attempting to scale its summit. Mount Roraima, Gran Sabana, Venezuela. It's an awe-inspiring sight to see this enormous plateau of stone emerge from the mist. The top of the mountain marks the confluence of the borders of Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana, but is officially part of Venezuela's Canaima National Park. It is considered to be one of the oldest known geological formations in the world, dating from over 2 billion years ago. Musandam Fjords, Oman. We can sort of see the similarities, minus the snow, of course. The fjords were formed over 20,000 years ago when polar ice caps melted and flooded the Musandam valleys. Now the deep inlets and bays are ringed by craggy peaks and steep cliffs, creating Oman's most popular tourist attraction. Perito Moreno Glacier, Argentina. A few stunning facts set Perito Moreno apart from other glaciers the world over. The first, most striking characteristic is that every 4 to 5 years the glacier advances enough to dam a part of the Argentino lake, creating a massive rise in water levels, as much as 16 meters in some cases. The resulting pressure creates a rupture which sends enormous walls of ice crashing into Argentino Lake. The Grand Canyon, Arizona, USA. Photos schmotos. Nothing can compare to visiting the Grand Canyon in person and seeing it in all its putting into perspective grandeur. Close to 450 kilometers long and nearly 30 kilometers wide, the area cleaved by the Colorado River over the course of billions of years is rich in geological wonder and in Native American history. Tianzi Mountains, China. The striking sandstone pillars that dominate this dramatic landscape are the result of millions of years of erosion. There are over 3,000 vertical columns, each one festooned with densely growing pine trees that sprout for the sky, the highest of which is over 1,250 meters tall. China honored nature's handiwork in 1982 by naming the area in which the pillars stand the Zhangjiajie National Park, one of the country's first. Trolltunga, Norway. This is not a mountain hike for anyone with even the vaguest hint of vertigo. The huge cantilevering slat of stone, known as the Trolltung, hovers 700 meters above the crystalline alpine waters of Lake Ringdalsvatnet, a total of 1,100 meters above sea level. But if you're able to brave the dizzying heights, the payoff is sublime. Aurora Borealis, Greenland. This is on most people's bucket list. Some people go to Scandinavia, some to Alaska, but who can say they've been to Greenland? And it's one of the best places to see the sky light up with those fluorescent ribbons and swirls. Fairy Pools, Isle of Skye, Scotland. If there's anywhere in the world that could convince you that these mythical creatures exist, this is it. Tucked into stunning highland scenery on the Scottish island of Skye, the site is a series of atmospheric pools, waterfalls and cascades, and small caves and caverns, too pretty to be the haunt of mere humans. Fingal's Cave, Staffa Island, Inner Hebrides, Scotland. The hero of an ancient Celtic legend, Fingal is the colossal Scottish rival of the Irish giant responsible for the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. They're part of the same natural phenomenon, an ancient lava flow that may have connected them over 60 million years ago. Giant's Causeway, County Antrim, Northern Ireland. You are not the only ones to have trouble believing that the interlocking basalt columns are the result of an ancient volcanic eruption. It's much more likely that these extraordinary stone structures were carved into a causeway by an enormous giant who wanted to use the stepping stones to cross the North Channel to Scotland in order to take up the challenge to fight from his equally gigantic Scottish counterpart. There are identical basalt columns over the sea at Fingal's Cave on the Isle of Staffa in Scotland. The Waitomo Glowworm Caves, North Island, New Zealand. Touring the limestone caves illuminated with the phosphorescence of thousands upon thousands of tiny glowworms sure is an otherworldly experience. Made up of 3 different levels, the last level, known as the Cathedral, is where you board a boat on the Waitomo River to drift underground through the glowworm grotto. It is most serenely beautiful. The only light comes from the worms that twinkle and shine on the roof of the cave. Uluru, Northern Territory, Australia. In a nation not short of natural wonders, the immense spectacle that awaits you in Australia's vast red centre is truly breathtaking. The solitary grandeur of the rock is worthy of every superlative you can think to throw at it. And even then, no description can really prepare you for the sight of over 3.5 kilometers of solid stone in real life. Kakadu National Park, Northern Territory, Australia. The effort to get here might be epic, but the rewards are just as magnificent. Most people access Kakadu from the Northern Territory's small but vibrant state capital, Darwin, a lazy 4,000 kilometers drive from Sydney. From Darwin, it's another 250 kilometers to the park itself. Lençóis Maranhenses National Park, Maranhão, Brazil. Being one of the largest countries on Earth, Brazil supports a surprising variety of ecological phenomena, the sand dunes of Lençóis Maranhenses being one of the most unexpected and astounding. Plitvice Lakes National Park, Croatia. Nature sure knows how to turn on a good show, doesn't she? This series of 16 terraced lakes with sparkling clear water cascading over from one to another is picturesquely situated among the trees in the vast forest of Croatia's largest national park. Nature's bounty has been framed for human use by the sympathetic use of wooden walkways and footbridges. The wildebeest migration, Serengeti to Masai Mara, Africa. From near or far, this, the world's biggest migration of animals, is an annual event on a massive scale. Over 2 million beasts make their way from the Serengeti to the green grass of the Masai Mara. Fear of missing out means that zebras, gazelles, and impalas also join the wildebeest in their frantic journey towards a good feed. Yosemite National Park, California, USA. Yosemite National Park is like a greatest hits album. No other national park in the United States delivers more bang for your buck. From giant sequoia groves to soaring granite cliffs, and gorgeous mountain lakes to slowly advancing glaciers, every corner of this 750,000-acre park is nature at its best. Bristlecone pines, California, USA. There are a few special characteristics that the bristlecones have up their spiky sleeves that set them apart from their flora friends, such as that they are believed to be some of the oldest living organisms in the world. The eldest, Mesthusla, is nearly 4,850 years old. That's nearly 2,500 years older than the Acropolis in Greece, for some perspective. Crooked Forest, Poland. Sometimes it looks like the earth is having us on. So far no one has figured out how these quirky kink trees in a pine forest in northwest Poland came to be. Eye of the Sahara, Mauritania. Like a sandy crop circle in the middle of the desert, this mysterious disk sticks out like a sore thumb amongst miles of featureless sand. It is in such stark contrast to its surrounds that it can clearly be seen from space, and was once thought to be the result of a gigantic meteor strike. Ice towers of Mount Erebus, Antarctica. It's true, the astounding ice towers of the volcanically active Mount Erebus are not part of a well-trodden tourist trail, so let us talk you through their wondrous properties. The ice towers are formed when warm volcanic gases escape through caverns in the ice, creating a chimney-like structure, with the toxic gas flowing out the top. There are hundreds of these towers on the mountain slopes, and at heights of nearly 20 meters, it makes for a dramatic and surreal sight. Living root bridges of Cherrapunji, Meghalaya, India. This sounds like something out of Lord of the Rings. The twisted, gnarly root systems that stretch and grow across the fast-flowing rivers in far northeastern India look indeed like the stuff of fantasy. Pamukkale, Turkey. This dramatic stack of blindingly white travertine terraces is Turkey's #1 tourist draw card. But don't let that put you off. And here's a tip. Stay overnight near the terraces and visit first thing in the morning before the busloads begin arriving. Sagano Bamboo Forest, Japan. The rows and rows of softly swaying bamboo stalks rise meters into the sky to almost touch at their tips, creating a canopy and the sense of being inside a green room. It's a dreamy feeling, and if it were possible to escape the noises of your fellow travelers chatting and posing for selfies, you would be able to hear a sound that has been classified by the Japanese Ministry of the Environment as one of the 100 soundscapes of Japan. Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia. 10 billion tons of salt can really make you thirsty. But you're not here to have fish and chips. You're here to see the largest salt flat on the planet, one of the flattest places on Earth. It almost defies description. Socotra, Island and Archipelago, Indian Ocean, Yemen. Isolated at sea, more than 300 kilometers from Yemen and approximately 250 kilometers from Somalia, the Socotra Archipelago has gone ahead and created its own unique set of flora and fauna adapted to its harsh and unforgiving environment. Spotted Lake, British Columbia, Canada. Laid out like an enormous game of Twister, the colorful spots are actually mineral deposits left behind when a majority of the water evaporates from the lake during the warm summer months. White Desert, Egypt. This surreal lunar-like landscape is the result of hundreds of years of erosion coupled with wild, white sandstorms that carve out crazy-looking statues made from calcium rock.